It's Monday, February 16th, 2026, and this is episode 353 of You Can Bet On That. Hi, everybody. Welcome to You Can Bet On That, a podcast for the recreational gambler. I'm Mark Duvall.
And I'm Dr. Mike.
Dr. Mike, we are well into 2026 now. How has your gambling been going? Or maybe a better question is, what are your gambling plans for the rest of the year?
Well, no plans as of now.
All right.
Because I don't know what's going to happen this summer, what we're going to do. In June, like the first or second week of June, my daughter graduates from UCSD with her degree in chemical engineering.
Gosh.
So we're going to go to San Diego. We're actually going to drive to San Diego. So we'll be there at least 5 days.
Wow, I cannot believe she's graduating already. That's why I kind of laughed there. Okay, so you'll be here.
I'll be there, so I'll probably be going with you to some casino at that point.
Yeah, we'll let listeners know once we have some specific dates for that. And we will also try to record together in person an episode, since we haven't done that in a long time.
Yep.
All right. So June, you're going to be here in San Diego. We may have some other trips lined up that we will let listeners know about here fairly soon. Getting back to gambling so far, have you done any gambling this year, Dr. Mike?
No, I have
that's shameful.
not. It is.
We have a podcast
really is,
for
Mark.
crying out loud.
Well, for a large part of January, the weather conditions were not ideal to drive to the casino.
Okay. All right.
We had some snowstorms and this and that and ice and whatnot, so I didn't really venture out much. It's nice now. Today was like in the 50s.
Okay.
Yeah, maybe in March and April, I'll probably head to one of the casinos.
All right. I'll start bugging you from now on, every episode, to see how you're doing.
I don't have to go to a casino because I get all your reports of your gambling, and
you're living through me. Yeah.
You're just living through that.
I text Dr. Mike whenever I'm playing that mixed poker game at the local casinos here. Okay, we're switching to the Badoogie. I'm down.
Yeah, it kind of worries me when there's a lag between, they're fairly regular, and then all of a sudden there's a lag, and I'm like, uh-oh.
Yeah, what happened? Yeah. I'm going to the cashier to get more chips.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking. Did he get wiped out or something? Well, anyway, I do enjoy those.
All right. Well, very good. Let's move on to the show then. A few episodes ago, when we first talked about the W2G threshold being raised from $1,200 to $2,000, we mentioned that we'd heard, at least anecdotally, that would reduce the number of W2Gs issued by about 2/3. So again, when you win $2,000 or more on a slot machine or video poker, that's considered a hand pay. They have to pay you in person, and they issue you a W2G, which is an IRS tax form. The threshold used to be $1,200. Starting this year, they raised it to $2,000. Well, we got an email from a listener who actually works for a casino, and they wish to remain anonymous because they sent us some internal documents from the casino related to this. The documents show data from a week in 2025, last year. Not only do these documents show how many W2Gs the casino issued during that week, but they also show how many of those W2Gs were for payouts between $1,200 and $1,999.99, right? Sure enough, 63.3% of the W2Gs issued during that period were for those lower amounts. And that's pretty close to 2/3.
Yeah, very close.
So at least for this casino, and we're not going to say which casino it is, but it's a average casino, right? It's not a high-end casino. It's not a sawdust joint. At least at this casino, they're expecting to have to issue 63.3% fewer W2Gs to customers. And who knows, a high-end place like Wynn, maybe the reduction won't be that much. Or again, a low roller joint, it might be more. But anyway, 63.3 is what we got from this specific casino. So there's some hard numbers for you.
Yeah. I was wondering, Mark, are the manufacturers of the machines going to change some of the payout modes so that people, how a lot of them, the payout on
Yeah,
a
it used to
certain
be
thing
like
will be
$1,199. They'd
999.
set it up so,
Right.
yeah, it
Yeah.
sounds like just based on stories we're hearing that, yes, it might not even be a manufacturing kind of thing. It might be the kind of thing the casino could do, but for sure, manufacturers are going to be aware of that. And it does sound like more and more machines are being changed so they don't stop and say, wait for attendant when it's between the $1,200 and $2,000.
Yeah.
So, yeah, things are changing. And you're right. There will probably be a lot now where the big payoff is $1,999 to stay under
$99.
the new
Yeah.
threshold. Yeah.
Yeah. Which makes sense because you wouldn't want to get a $2,025 payout or something and be,
Right.
that wouldn't be nice. Sounds like they're on top of all this.
Yeah, it seems to be going smoothly. Everybody's happy, of course.
Yeah.
Yes, it should have
Of
been
course,
higher, but,
yeah. Well, they'll do it every year
I
next
hope
year.
that does become a thing where they review it and start doing that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Maybe on a 5-year basis, or honestly, it should be like a yearly
All right.
basis.
Keep your fingers crossed, Dr. Mike. It took almost 50 years for the first one. So,
Yeah. Well, we're on a roll now, Mark. One in a row.
yeah. Oh, we got an email from John. I'll read part of his email here. He says, "This was my first time at a local casino, and I realized I cannot play the same way I play in Vegas. I got up quick, but kept playing and gave it back plus more. In hindsight, I should have banked the win and left, even though it was less than an hour of playing. It is only a 20-minute drive to get there. What are your tips and suggestions for playing locally versus at Vegas?" And Dr. Mike, while you think about this, I'm going to play a voicemail we got from listener Bert with a very similar question.
Okay.
Mark, Dr. Mike, it's Bert from Virginia. I want to give you guys an update on a new casino coming to Virginia. Well, came to Virginia. Live Virginia opened mid-January, I think January 20th in Petersburg. It's a tent right now, and they're building the full casino right behind the tent. Been down there a few times, and it's pretty cool. It's about a 70,000 square foot tent, so it's pretty good. Lots of slots, good selection of table games. If you have 2 craps tables, a bar, high limit area. Pretty nice. It's cool to have a local casino. I've never had one that you could just kind of shoot off with after work and check out. I remember when your show first started, a big deal was you guys could go pretty much anytime you wanted. It's one of your local casinos. You were going every Friday to Harris. So it's kind of nice to be sitting at home kind of bored and go, in 35, 40 minutes, I can be at the casino. So I've shot down there a few times. Just played mostly video poker, haven't tried the table games yet. And I'm pretty much even, not gamblers even, but actually even. I win a little bit, give it back, win a little bit, give it back, and walk out with most of what I came with. So be curious if you guys could share, how do you manage a bankroll when you go to your local casino as much as you guys used to, and then you also do like trips to Vegas, or for me, trips to AC or trips to Biloxi? How do you manage those 2 bankrolls? Is it 2 separate bankrolls, or is it just one? Just some insight in that. I'm nervous about having a casino that close. I'm pretty good about managing my gambling fixes, but sometimes boredom equals a big loss. Thanks, guys. Talk to you later.
I love that. Sometimes boredom equals a big loss. Boy, that's for
Yes.
sure.
Yeah. That's definitely t-shirt material there, Mark.
These are great questions. I guess what I would say first is whether or not you're going to your local casino regularly. If you just happen to go to your local casino and you don't plan on going there for another year, well, maybe you treat it like a Vegas trip, right? Because it's like you're not going to be able to gamble for a while. But if it's something that you're going to regularly, or you plan to go to regularly, I would suggest, again, if it is a short trip, not a 2-hour drive, but like 20 minutes, that kind of thing. Yeah, if you've made a big hit, just go home and sort of enjoy the win. Have a week of, hey, this is great, I'm up, and then go again the next week. What do you think, Dr. Mike?
Well, I think one of the traps of a local casino is if it is close, now I have to drive 2 hours, and that's a little bit of a drive.
I wouldn't say that's
especially
close.
with weather. Yeah, I wouldn't say that's close. But if it's a half hour or under, you talked about celebrating the win at home, but you also have to be careful about, oh, that was a terrible session. And 2 days later, thinking to yourself, I can get it back. I'm going to go get it back today.
Yeah. And I'm glad you brought that up, because I would still argue the same thing. If you have a terrible session, get out of there, because you can go again next week. Now, wanting to win your money back, that's always a problem for all gamblers, whether it's a local casino or you're in Vegas for a trip or whatever. I would say, these hit and run or lose and run trips make more sense because you're going to be going back so regularly. When you're in Las Vegas, that's all you're doing.
Right.
You can't just go, oh, I had a rough session, I guess I'll go home. Well, that's not an option, but it's always an option at your local casino. And I would just say, whatever you do, don't treat your local casino visit like a trip to Las Vegas if you're going regularly. You don't want to spend too much time there. If losing your winning is going to hurt, if you think, oh, I was up, I should have left, if that's something psychologically that is going to mess with you, get out early.
And it kind of leads to the point of, don't stay overnight at your local casino.
Yeah, that is good advice. We've all done it, but that's good advice.
That tends to make it like a Vegas trip where, I'll get up early and I'll gamble some more. You go home and you're kind of in reset mode. When you're on a trip, let's say you're just on a weekend trip to Vegas, and if you have a rough trip and lose, you may not be back for a while. And that might be a good thing. Gives you some time to mentally recover, monetarily recover. For me, as opposed to like a local casino, well, if I have a bad trip, 3-4 days later, I'm thinking, okay, I got to go back. I can get this back. Other people might have the attitude, well, that was terrible. I'm not going back there for a while.
And it'll give you a chance to clear your head if you leave rather than try to chase that money. What do you think about this, Dr. Mike? Think of Las Vegas or any other gambling destination, Atlantic City, whatever. Think of those as vacations that have gambling. There's a lot of other stuff you can do. You can go get a meal. It's tons of other distractions. When you're going to your local casino, that's a night out specifically for gambling.
Yeah.
So it's different.
That's work for us.
Right. That's why you really have to treat it. I know this is a general statement, but don't spend too much time at your local casino. You can always go back next week.
Yeah, if you're having a rough night, go home, regroup, go back next week or something or whenever. I think you just have to manage your time a little better.
And, Bert was specifically asking about bankroll too. I've never kept separate bankrolls for big Vegas trips versus going to a local casino. My gambling budget is all one big bankroll. I guess, if anything, don't take too much to your local casino. And if you've got the discipline, don't get any more money at your local casino. Don't open up a line of credit at your local casino. How about that, right? Because that's going to be a little too tempting. Don't use the ATM at your local casino.
Yeah, that is a lot more tempting.
Hopefully we've answered your questions, John and Bert. I know we kind of rambled a little bit there, and maybe Mike and I are giving a little bit different advice, but it definitely is a different beast. All right. We also got an email from our buddy Original David. He said, hey, Mark and Dr. Mike, started a voicemail and could not keep my thoughts coherent, so writing an email instead. Just got back from a trip to Vegas, got to meet Josh Duffy, Table Games James, and his wife Kim, and a couple of friends in the community I had met at 360 Vegas Vacation, Lindsay and Joss. Just wanted to share that I hit my first Royal. Oh, well, congratulations, David. Granted, it was only 10-cent denom on 3-line Ultimate X, but I did get a 3X multiple for a total of $1,200. Great timing with the new threshold for hand pays coming into effect. Oh, great. Perfect. Much appreciated for the podcast and how Dr. Mike gives back to his community. Wanted to share my fortune with others, so sent in a donation yesterday. Please apply this to Dr. Mike's community, less whatever you might need to keep the podcast going. Again, thanks for all you do, and looking forward to the next time we can grab drinks or spend time together. Cheers, Original David. Well, thank you very much, David.
Thank you, David. You know, it's funny. David's talking about seeing Josh, right?
Yeah, Duffy from Crap Vegas, yeah.
He did not see Chris, though.
No.
More fodder for the idea that it's the same person.
It's the same person. And even on their show, Chris says he's going to be going to Vegas less this year.
Yeah, well, it's probably harder for Josh to put the makeup on and
that's
all
true.
that
He's getting
stuff
tired of it, so he's just going to...
he's getting tired of it.
For this year, mostly you're going to see me as Josh Duffy.
Right. Oh, it is funny because, they see one or the other. So yeah, we got to assume it's the same person. Nobody we know has ever seen them there.
No?
Oh, I love a good conspiracy theory.
Yeah. Well, Mike, just some quick news here. This is actually hot off the press and only applies to Californians here. But right now in California, there are basically two different kinds of casinos. They're the tribal casinos, which are the full-blown Las Vegas-style casinos. And then there are the card rooms. Card rooms mostly offer poker and player-banked games. So you might see some traditional Vegas casino games there, blackjack, three-card poker, a lot of different things. But the casino does not bank those games. Instead, players bank the games, and the casino charges a commission from all players, and that's how they make their money. Well, the tribes for a long time have not liked the idea that these card rooms are offering these table games, even though the card rooms have been doing it longer than the tribal casinos have, right? They've been doing it, going back quite a ways. So they are always pushing to get the card rooms to stop doing that, and they have very good lobbyists at the state level. Well, as of this last week, California regulators have approved a new set of regulations applying to card rooms. And in the regulations, it says, apparently these are the actual words, any game of blackjack shall not be approved for play. And that applies just to the card rooms. Now, how do you interpret that? Are they going to be able to offer the other games like Ultimate Texas Hold'em and Pai Gow Poker and Baccarat? Who knows, right? It's going to come down to how these regulations are enforced. They're supposed to go into effect on April 1st. The card rooms are very upset about it because it would reduce the workforce. They'd have to lay some people off if they cannot offer these games. And really, how much is that digging into the tribal casinos' profit from these games? These card rooms are relatively small. I think the tribal casinos are still making a lot of money, but that's what it comes down to. The tribes really want a monopoly on all the gambling in this state. That's why we don't have sports betting yet.
It's so weird, Mark, because take any of the casinos in San Diego County. Is the experience when you go there anything similar to when you go to a card room?
No, it's so much better than going to a card room.
The card room doesn't have 4 or 5 options to eat. The card room doesn't have a hotel. Yeah, I mean, it's a totally different experience.
Yeah, it depends.
So how much money can they be taking away from the casino?
It depends on the card room, of course. It depends on where you live. Now, here in San Diego, we really have only 2 card rooms, and they're nowhere near the tribal casinos.
No,
so it might be convenient for people in the city to go to these card rooms instead. But I think this is too bad because I don't think it's a problem. I think it's a set of regulations that's trying to solve a problem that doesn't really exist. But again, this is politics. I guess I won't go any further into it because I don't want to get into politics.
Yeah, well, I mean, I'm just going to sum it up in one word here, greed.
Yeah, I didn't want to use that word, but that's what it is. It is.
It is what it is, right?
Yeah. Well, the WSOP is coming up as usual at the end of May. By the time this episode drops, they should have the schedule released. Our little card night group, we're planning a trip to go to the WSOP. Not sure exactly when yet. I'm not a big tournament player. I way prefer cash games. And I was thinking, well, if I go to the WSOP, maybe it'll just be to kind of support my friends and do other things or whatever. But I was talking to this player, Brandon, who's a regular at these mixed games out of the casinos. He said last year at the WSOP, they were offering a 2040 mixed game limit, 2040, where you paid an $8 chair rental fee, per hour. Rather than taking a rake from each pot, basically you pay $8 an hour to play there. And I thought, wow, I would love that. And it's like in one of the WSOP rooms. There's tons of poker going on in Las Vegas during the WSOP that's not related to the WSOP. But apparently this is, in one of the rooms there. The only thing Brandon said, the dealers were pretty bad, which I understand. They have to bring in so many dealers for the WSOP. And here's a dealer who may not be that familiar with just dealing Texas Hold'em, and we're dumping a bunch of new games on him. So I can understand that. It might be a little frustrating for the dealers. But I'm thinking, if they have that, I might do that, Dr. Mike.
Yeah, that would be fun. You can walk away from that too anytime you want.
Well, see, that's another reason I prefer Cash Games Tournament. Not only can you walk away at any time, you can't be eliminated from the game at any time, right? As long as you've got a bankroll that says, all right, I'll rebuy. You just keep playing, and you move on to the next hand. Once a hand is over, it's over, and you just move on, especially in a limit cash game. Yeah.
Right. Yeah, it's a whole different setup. And your chances of coming out ahead are probably a lot greater just because the sheer volume of players that sign up for each of these, your chances of making the money aren't that great. But playing in a cash game, that's more your skill, right?
And I can get bored at a tournament too. Or I shouldn't say bored so much as fatigued. With a cash game, come and go as you please.
Yeah, if you want to sit out some hands, you're not really hurting yourself at all.
I just bring this up maybe to let people know that I might be out there at some point during the WSOP. Once the schedule's out and I've had a chance to talk to all the card night buddies, I'll let people know when that might be.
Yeah, now that you're retired, you can just go for the whole tournament.
Go for the whole tournament,
from the first day till the day when they crown the champ.
Yeah, so over a month in Las Vegas. Yeah. Let me think about that, Dr. Mike.
Well, you could drive home a couple of times. I mean, if you left one night, you could. It's only 4.5 hours.
Las Vegas will become my local casino.
Yeah, right. Well, if you do go, I hope you have good luck. You've had pretty good luck in the mixed game.
I have, although I got slaughtered this last week. But even though I got slaughtered, I still enjoyed myself. That's good.
Yeah, good. Yeah, good.
Right.
Good.
Hey, thanks to everyone who's been clicking through our Amazon link. Remember, whenever you're going to buy something through Amazon, please go to our page first. You can betonThat.com and click through our Amazon link towards the top of the page. That means it's voicemail time. First up is Nick.
Hi, Mark and Dr. Mike. This is Nick in Kalamazoo giving you a quick trip report between Christmas and New Year's. I'm a little behind, trying to catch up. Actually, a really interesting and fun time to go to Vegas between those two holidays. A lot of people are gone from Christmas and people will be coming in for New Year's. All the Christmas decorations are still up. The conservatory is still Christmas. This was our last trip of the year and my wife's last trip as being platinum with MGM. Wasn't able to get back there this year. She is Diamond Elite with Caesars, so we're going to see what that's like this next year. We ended up having a room at Cosmo for the few days that we're there. Our second time staying there, really nice hotel, really nice rooms, a lot of interesting food. I would say there's really not a downtime in Vegas anymore, but I would say that the upscale properties, the Cosmos, the Bellagios, Caesars were very busy. When you went to some of the mid-tier properties like New York, or others, you could definitely tell it wasn't quite as busy, but it really depended on the day. We were at Planet Hollywood, I want to say on Monday, and I was playing $5 Ultimate Texas Hold'em at 11 o'clock. And by 1 o'clock, they were raising the table to $15. Like, that's a crazy jump. And then walking by multiple times and no one played it. So they have some sort of agenda. They know what they're expecting, but maybe they don't always know best. The other thing that's interesting is my wife got most of her points playing online, not at a Caesars casino. And it feels like she doesn't get the type of offer she would get with MGM. She can't always get rooms on the weekends. She doesn't really get offered much free play or food. We're curious to see what that will be like next year. I don't have a whole lot of gambling stories to talk about. I will say that I did horribly, but my wife did quite well. And we came home winners up for the first time this year and the first time in quite some time. So that was a great experience. I did have two quick things that I wanted to touch on. One, I like to play at Park MGM quite a bit. It's non-smoking, $15. They usually have enough craps tables open. You can get in and have a good time. I speak a little bit of Japanese, not a lot. I never get to talk to anybody. But at Park MGM, everyone has on their name tag where they're from. And I noticed that the dealer on my side was from Japan. I'm not usually making a pass line bet. I'm usually just betting the 6, 8, and the 9 bankroll, especially because I've been losing. And I finally get the courage and put my money down and look at her and I say, Roku to Hachi to Kyu Kudasai. And she just kind of looks at me and I kind of smile and she goes, hi, hi. And then she puts my bets down and we kind of conversed for a minute back and forth. I also happen to have on a shirt from Universal Studios that had a chain chomp on it. And underneath it, it says wan wan, which is Japanese sound that dogs make instead of bark. And she pointed at wan wan. We were kind of chatting. I think the pit boss was giving us a little bit of an eye because we weren't speaking as much English. But sometimes you have to make your own fun. I've mentioned it before, is the poker rooms in Vegas, Caesars had a hard time finding it. It seems that they finally moved their poker room back. Maybe that was temporary, but still shocked at Planet Hollywood. What a beautiful room, but a lot of times people just can't find it. You walk upstairs and there's all these poker tables set out for tournaments, but if you don't know to walk down the hallway, there's a whole poker room there. But the brief poker conversation was playing with some people. We were having a pretty good time. I think I was the big blind. I had Jack 3 suited, something I don't play very often, but 4 people in front of me had raised it to $15 or $20, and I was thinking I have 2 suited cards. That's pretty good money. If I put $20 in the pot, there's $80 in there. So I made my bet, and of course the flop comes up Jack 3 something. The first person to act bet, and I think a couple people went out, and I stayed in because I have 2 pair, and on the turn they went all in and I called and she flipped over aces and I flipped over Jack 3 and she was just like, what are you doing? But anyway, we also went downtown and I finally got to go to Bacon Nation at the D and had chicken parmesan. Their pasta sauce has bacon in it. If you like bacon, I highly suggest going down there. It's a lot of fun. And you have to go by Golden Gate just to see that there's no table games anymore. It looks so weird and vacant in there. Anyway, I appreciate your time. I've rambled long enough. Thanks for the podcast. Talk to you soon.
Nick kind of cut himself off there. Mike, do you like bacon?
I love bacon, Mark.
Yeah. Next time we're in Vegas together, if we are, we do need to go downtown, go to Bacon Nation. Yeah.
Yeah, I do like bacon. Yeah, bacon's funny because it's so good, but there is a limit. It's one of those foods where, oh, this is so good, but you get to a point where I don't think I can eat anymore, as opposed to like hamburgers, which you could just eat forever.
Okay, yeah, I kind of see what you're saying. What's a limit on bacon for you, Dr. Mike?
Probably a pound.
Pound of bacon? Yeah.
Pound of bacon, yeah.
Okay. You wouldn't go past that.
It depends on if I'm cooking it or not. Did you ever notice when you cook a bunch of bacon, it gets kind of nauseating?
Yeah. So you'll eat less if you're cooking it yourself?
Yeah.
Okay, I'm the same way. Yeah.
If someone's serving me, I'll just keep eating.
That makes more sense. Yeah. Nick's talking about that poker hand. So the woman who had aces, this is a good lesson for poker players out there. She really should have been more aggressive before the flop to isolate. When you have a pair of aces in Texas Hold'em, pocket aces, you don't want a lot of people in the pot.
No, you want to get them out.
You want people heads up because the more people that are in there, the more these speculative hands could hit their hand. And that's what happened here with Nick, although Jack 3, even though they're suited, I don't even know if I'd call that a speculative hand. I think I'd call that a folding hand. But
that's a pretty poor hand, yeah.
This is an example, right? And the reason he came in was because it was fairly cheap. He said there was some raise in front of him, but he was able to get in pretty cheap and see a flop. And, the flop hit him pretty hard. So
I believe most people's first thought when they see those aces is, I've got a good hand. I've got to get as many people in here as I can.
I think new players do think that. because
Yeah.
that seems to make sense. I've got the
Right.
best hand. I want as many people to give me their money as possible.
Right. And that's counterintuitive.
Yeah. Well, remember Paul's dad always used to say, well, I never raise with aces because I always lose with them.
Yeah.
Well, the reason he always lost with them is because he didn't raise.
Because he never raised. And everyone was like, especially if you're just calling or something, it's like, okay, well, why not?
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. Well, Nick said he played at Planet Hollywood. I went up there a few trips ago. Maybe it was during 360 Vegas Vacation to just check it out. I agree. It was beautiful up there. And maybe people weren't finding it because it wasn't as obvious. It was upstairs. You kind of had to go a little ways. Bad news, though, Nick, it's now closed. And that's probably the reason. It actually closed, my understanding, on January 31st.
So
Beautiful
what's the
room
deal with
that's
that? Are they going to use it for something else? Or
Well, I don't know. Again, it's upstairs from the regular casino. So they could
Yeah.
just make it conference rooms or another restaurant or something. It doesn't make too much sense, I think, to put slots up there because, again,
No.
it's separate from the casino. So I don't know what the plan is.
if you look up from the craps table, you can see there's something up there.
Yes.
But it's not super apparent that it's a poker room.
No, but whereas when you were in the poker room, you were overlooking the casino, and that's one of the things that made it so enjoyable up there. It looked great.
Yeah, I think maybe what they should have done is had more signage.
That sounds like it. Yeah, because
like-
Nick was saying that there were a bunch of tables you'd see that were just for tournaments with nobody
Right.
at them, and that you had to
Right.
keep going to actually find the poker room. Yeah, probably bad signage.
See, that won't be a problem in our casino because we're going to have a sign for everything.
Yeah, the sign is going to be maybe a little too much because it's
Yeah.
going to have so much information on it.
Right. But it'll definitely say, hey, poker room is
Yep,
open.
I'll be accurate. Yep.
Buy in for $200, get one free 6-ounce 7-Up.
6 ounce.
Yeah. We can't give them a whole can, Mark.
Yeah,
we're
that's
like
true.
airplanes. We got to serve like 4 people out of a can. Load the cup up with ice.
One more thing that Nick was talking about when he was speaking Japanese with the dealer, he mentioned that he had a Chain Chomp t-shirt on. For those who don't know, Chain Chomp is a character, a villain in the Super Mario video game universe. And he's this giant ball on a chain with these big sharp teeth. And for some reason, he barks like a dog. So that's Nintendo for you. Anyway, thank you very much for the report, Nick. All right, next call.
Hey, Mark and Dr. Mike. I've called in a couple times and talked about some overpayments I've gotten at the craps table. I had a new one that was kind of funny. I bet $60 on the 6 and $60 on the 8. $60 on the 6 or 8 pays $70, and I usually raise my bet to $120. So then they'll set up the new bet of $120, which is a black chip and 4 reds, and they'll take back $50, which are the 2 green chips, and they give me the 2 red chips left over. Well, I was playing one time in Hard Rock, Atlantic City recently, and the dealer basically tried to do that move. But instead of giving me the 2 red chips, he gave me the 2 green chips for an overpayment of $40. And he did that 3 times within a 30-minute span. But what was funny about it, there was a newbie crap player standing to my left. He was watching the dealer, and the dealer was making pretty slick moves. And the newbie player says to the dealer, "Man, you're really good at that. You must be doing that for a long time." And I thought it was funny because the dealer reacted like he reminded me of Mr. Roper on Three's Company. He stood up real tall and he's like, "Yep, I've been dealing craps for 30 years. I know what I'm doing." Meanwhile, he overpaid me $120 in 30 minutes. But the other thing I was going to say is one of the times I called in, you guys had a short debate on whether it was ethical to take an overpayment. And I listened to another podcast called Casino Combat. And in that podcast, he talks about let the casino do their job. It's the dealer's job to make sure the payouts are correct, not mine. And just to be clear, I don't always take overpayments. I will say it generally depends on how I'm doing at the table. If I'm losing, I'm generally more than likely to accept the overpayment. If I'm winning, I'm probably more likely to correct it. But I look at it this way. How many times do casinos underpay bets and people just don't even notice it? It doesn't go checked. Anyway, have a good day, guys.
All right. So longtime listeners of the show will know that Dr. Mike and I do believe that if a dealer makes a mistake in your favor, don't say anything. Just take the chips. Now, I'm sure there are plenty of listeners who feel that that's wrong and it should be the other way, and we're certainly not going to argue with you. This is kind of a matter of opinion. But yes, the rationalization that we use, maybe not like the caller, well, sometimes they underpay people. This is just evening things out. No, it's more about what he heard on Casino Combat. It's up to them to deal the game correctly, not up to us.
Right.
And this is limited to table games pretty much. For example, if I'm at the cashier and they make a mistake in my favor, I will always call attention to that. That's a whole different beast. When you're at a table game, the chips are going back and forth. They don't keep track of every chip. Oh, he won that one and he lost that one and everything. But at the cashier, at the end of the night, their money needs to work out, right? So I always call attention to that. Also, if I'm at a poker table, that's a different situation because it's not us against the casino, it's us against other players. So if a dealer makes a mistake at that table, I'll always call attention to that no matter which way it goes for the sake of the game, and other players will do the same. Yeah, I guess that's all I have to say. Anything else about that, Dr. Mike?
Well, Mark, it's kind of like you're going through Panda Express and you bought the 2 combo and the lady accidentally, gives you a third like orange chicken or something.
Okay.
And she sets it up there for you.
Yeah.
You don't give it back and say, hey, I only got the 2 combo.
Right, that's different. We're not talking about cash there. Yeah.
Yeah. That's where you accept it.
Yeah, Panda Express. Very much like Panda Express.
Panda Express. Now, if you ordered like a 2 combo with, let's say, almond chicken and orange chicken because you're a big chicken fan, and she filled up your plate with slices of tomato with cottage cheese,
right?
Then that's something you say, okay, this isn't what I ordered.
All right, you're going off the rails a little bit here, Dr. Mike.
But you know what I mean? There are instances where you say something. There are instances when you don't.
Yeah. The table game dealers, it's a unique beast as far as, mistakes go. Yeah.
They are the Panda Express of the casino.
Yeah. Another T-shirt for you. All right, last call.
Mark, Seahawks are Super Bowl champions, baby. Let's go.
Yeah, I'm not sure who that was. Somebody, I guess.
Yeah, it's weird.
Excited about the Seahawks winning. That's interesting. We didn't have any money, you and I, on the Super Bowl, but I was in a 100-square pool with the poker gang, and it was the one that pays off every minute.
Yep.
And I got what I thought were just terrible numbers, and I ended up being the big winner. That 3-0, 6-0 beginning of the game, I cleaned up.
What you really don't want is to get like an 8-8 or something.
Right, yeah, something like that.
Right. The Super Bowl was fine. It started off kind of like, okay, well, this is going to be quite a battle.
Yeah.
In halftime. And then the second half, they seemed to kick it into gear and there was a lot more scoring. So it was almost like 2 different games. And neither one of them I enjoyed.
Yeah.
The first half or the second half.
Yeah.
It's pretty neutral.
Yeah, I know what you mean. Yeah. I'm going to root for Seattle over New England just because New England's had, so
plenty
many
of wins.
Our friend Mike James. I was actually in Seattle the week before the Super Bowl.
For the Super Bowl, right.
So,
yeah.
Yeah, they were gearing up for that.
Well, I just root for overtime.
Yeah.
There was no overtime, and it was a disappointment for me.
Yeah. All right. Well, that's going to do it for this episode. We want to thank some people for some recurring donations. From Jeremy at the Color Up YouTube channel. From James. From Kurt. From the National Association of Casino Party Operators. And from Nathan. Thank you very much for those recurring donations. And, of course, we got that very nice donation for your school kids, Mike, and for the podcast from Original David. Thanks again for that.
Thank you, David. That was very generous, very, very nice.
You can buy merchandise for You Can Bet on That and for the Better Life at bettermerch.com. That's BETTOR merch.com. You'll find a link to that at the top of our webpage. Also on our webpage, you'll find a list of all the gambling-related shows coming up on American television in the next 2 weeks at youcanbetonThat.com/TV-listings. If you're looking for a movie to watch, check out our list of gambling-related movies at youcanbetonThat.com/movies. We'd love to hear from you. Call our voicemail hotline at 951-292-4377. That's 9512-WAGERS.
951 Two wagers.
Or you can email us at youcanbetonThat@gmail.com. We're also on Twitter at YouCanBetOnThat and on Facebook at facebook.com/YouCanBetOnThat. Got anything for us this time, Dr. Mike?
Well, Mark, we were at school this last week and we got on the topic of the Olympics.
Mm-hmm.
And overwhelmingly in the classes throughout the day, the thing I heard the most was Winter Olympics are kind of boring. Summer's much more fun.
Okay.
And I'm arguing with the kids because I'm like, no, you've got it wrong.
Mm-hmm.
Winter is more fun because it's way more dangerous.
Way more dangerous. Yeah.
Way more dangerous. Look at how they're jumping off like mountains, flying through the air, doing twists and stuff. Even like ice skating. I mean, you're skating with a blade that's sharp enough to take your head off, and they're spinning each other around and everything. You've got hockey. I mean, come on, hockey's way more dangerous than basketball.
Yeah.
How are you going to get hurt in the Summer Olympics other than like maybe pull a muscle? I mean, or someone throws a javelin through you.
Yeah.
I guess, that
could, that you got to watch out for you.
But your life's on the line with every Winter Olympic event.
Boy, that's a really good point, Dr. Mike. I never really thought about it that way. But it's way more dangerous.
Look at the downhill. Those crashes, I mean, that's scary. And ski jumping and all the aerial stuff, even those slope skiers, when they're skiing down rails and stuff.
Yeah.
What if you slipped? You're a guy. That's going to be a bad injury, right?
Yeah.
I mean, there's a lot of danger in the Winter Olympics. And now even in curling. I mean, almost a fist fight the other day.
That's right. Oh, man. Usually, it's so funny because I was telling everybody here, the nice thing about curling, they're so polite to each other. They'll concede a game or they'll say, I accidentally touched this stone. You can move it if you want. No, it's okay. No. And then it's like a brawl.
Right. But honestly, there are not too many things in the Winter Olympics that don't involve danger.
Yeah.
We're not even getting into like skeleton and luge and all that stuff. I mean, you're going 90 miles an hour down a hill with this little sled and a paper thin plastic suit on. It's not like you got body armor or pads and everything like in football. I mean, those are real athletes. Come on. You know how I love baseball, but sure, you've got a elbow protector on when you're batting. The luge guys would probably have to wear a suit of armor if they really wanted to be protected.
Yeah. Not a lot of multiple surgeries needed injuries in baseball.
Right. You don't have to have 4 surgeries after you compete.
Yep.
Don't forget, they used to do all this stuff without helmets.
Yeah.
I mean, it was just the person out there. Can you imagine? I mean, just when I look down the steepness of the run or something, I'm like, oh my God.
Oh, it's horrifying. And the drones they're using this year really put you into especially the downhill, you really feel those turns and everything.
Yeah. And I know they train for this and they're experts and everything, but you can be the best at a certain Winter Olympic sport. You could be the best in the world at it, and you still have a pretty good chance of crashing.
Yeah.
So anyway, that was my argument with the kids. I said way more dangerous.
Yep.
The amount of events in the Summer Olympics is neat.
Oh, yeah, that's way more. Way more.
There's way more events, and so there's a lot of stuff. But, you don't see too many volleyball players having 4 surgeries after a volleyball
Yeah, not
match.
a lot of impalement on the volleyball court.
Not a lot of impalement. Maybe somebody gets a little rug burn on their knee.
Or got hit in the head. Little lump on the head.
Got hit in the head. Short tracks racing and skating.
Yep.
Oh my God. That is so dangerous.
Yeah, crash all the time.
Pretty soon they're going to get rid of those padded walls and they're just going to be like a hockey wall or something.
Yeah, hockey wall. Or spikes. Fiery spikes. I mean, really make it
that's
something.
Another thing. The winter athletes wear spikes on their gloves, like in the luge and the skeleton. They got those spikes and everything.
Yeah.
Just that alone would be scaring me.
Yeah.
I'd be afraid I'd go to scratch myself or something.
Yeah, you had a big injury. How'd you get injured? I had an itch.
I lost my whole nose. Yep. Anyway, those are my thoughts for this week. I'm enjoying the Olympics. I'm watching it right now.
All right. So. Well, I'm going to turn off the microphones here and go and do the same thing. Watch some Olympics.
That's our Valentine's
Oh, yeah, it's Valentine. We already went out for our Valentine's meal.
We went last night, too.
Okay, there you go.
Yeah, $5 biggie bag at Wendy's.
Frosties? Okay,
Of course,
good.
Frosties.
Yeah, I was going to say that's
you
very
don't go without
Valentine,
getting
very
a-
romantic. All right. All right. Well, happy belated Valentine's Day, everybody. We'll talk in 2 weeks. Thanks for listening.
Good night.
I thought we were going to make our money last. Doctors don't make nearly as much as you think these days.
Well, you should have gone into finance. $1,000 all in. 1.41% house advantage on the pass line, 0 on the odds. At this table limit, this is our best move.